with some small version of fresh cut meat. He was doing the processing, slaughter for us, and it was an expense at that time, but it was paying its way, and then you could see the opportunity there. So we went through a bit of research and travel here and there, and at that time we decided we'd build our own provincially inspected meat shop. And I will say if we had done that 20 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be retired in the Cayman Islands. But it's made that much difference. And I'll give you an example. A feeder at that time, a feeder steer, 700, 800, 900 pounds, whatever you got them up to in the fall. You take it to sale, it was $600 to $800. And that same feeder steer or finished steer right now is worth about $4,000. So that's a lot on one, but it's a hell of a lot more on 40 or 50 a year. So it made quite a difference. So we were able to justify putting up our own provincially inspected shop. And again, the opportunity just kept presenting itself. And not one to argue, but your point about promoting yourself in advertisement as a food processor, it's a great thing because you can always sell more. But as a producer, it's a real slippery slope because it gets to the point where we did a bit of advertising, but we don't advertise. We try to keep our head down actually now, because it gets to the point where you're selling 50 or 60 steers. Well, that's great. You can sell them, and you can sell a few hundred hogs, and you can sell 10 acres of vegetables. But you start advertising, and you need to sell another 50 steers, and it just becomes a vicious capital expense where you need more land, more buildings, more equipment, and it's like, what can you handle? Where's your cutoff? So as a processor versus a producer, there's a fine line there, I find, and it's always trying to decide which side you should be on. Getting to FarmWorks last year, finally after I don't know how many years, the beef industry started to show some signs of really moving forward. As far as prices go, when BSE hit in must be 8 or 9 years ago now, beef prices really went to the bottom, based to the point where lots of livestock you couldn't give away. So when it started to move forward, prices kept coming up. Last year, the opportunity, just a gentleman who we met through market decided he was going to sell a small beef herd. And he didn't want to see it go to slaughter. He wanted to see the cows stay, spent his lifetime basically building up this cow herd, and he wanted to see it kept as a beef herd. So he happened to mention it one day at Farmers Market, and one of your gentlemen here that's also applying to yours, Jeremy, happened to be standing there with an earshot. And he knew beef cows weren't cheap at that time. Again, the prices were on the upward trend. And the gentleman went off, and Jeremy says, he said, "How are you going to do that?" And I said, "Just my worst business habit is buying capital assets for my line of credit and suck it up the rest of the year." Whether it was a piece of equipment or 20 cows, that's something I've done in the past and gotten away with most of the time. Anyway, Jeremy explained the whole process for me there in 10 minutes. He's a great salesman for you. And I think within the next week I made the phone call, and it was that simple. They were good enough to come down on, I think it was a Saturday afternoon, very obliged to myself, after market, sat in the kitchen, we had a cup of tea or two, and went through the process, explained what we were up to, and it was that simple. We made the offer on the herd. Jim was very happy with it. From there, the interesting part of it, we bought the cows, I think it was 18 cows, something like that, for, I can't even final price, but anyway, we bought the cows, bred cows, 18 cows, and we calved them out. We ended up with 20 calves. So we're on the plus right now.
Wow.
So it's worked out well. Livestock, it's a tricky business at the best of times, but it happens beyond the upswing, and it's, as of right now, it's showing no signs of going the other way. I guess the only thing that would ever turn it around right now would be another major BSE crisis. That being said, people still eat beef, and